All eyes are going to be on him. And what we're doing right now is we're heralding in the coming of our Lord and Savior, Yahushua. We're telling the world that our Lord is coming. Prepare to meet greatness. Prepare to meet the Savior of the nation of Israel. Prepare to meet the king that will take over all of these different realms of the earth and put them under his feet. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh's Son, Yahushua. How great is that? Oh yeah.
Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger-bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and shall bring him to the king of terrors.
Psalm chapter 2, verse 7. I will declare the decree, Yahweh said unto me. Now this is a psalm of David, but King David, he's prophesying from the standpoint of Yahushua, from the perspective or the mindset of Yahushua. All right, I will declare the decree, Yahweh have said unto me. Yahweh said to his son Yahushua, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. So this day have I brought thee into existence. This is what happened. This is what took place in the spirit world before everything was made. The Most High brought his son forth into existence. And this is what he said to him. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. So I'm going to give you everything, son. And I'm going to make you to rule over these other nations on the earth. And the uttermost parts of the earth are thy possession. So you're going to be able to have the whole earth. The whole earth, the entire earth is going to be yours. Planet Earth is going to be yours. And the universe. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, even as I received of my Father. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Right? So, guess what, goddammit? Somebody going to slavery, man. All right? According to the Holy Scriptures, somebody is going to slavery. All right? So how can heaven be for everyone?
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints.
All eyes are going to be on him. And
all right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakwatash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation, hopefully they got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, man. Okay? Hey, we know what time it is, man. Okay, the only thing worth getting excited about, man, and that's the end of this man's empire, which we know is going to be through this Third World War. Okay, and we know, all right, that the prophecy of the Quran has to come, okay, before nuclear destruction. But what we're seeing the Quran, all right, the infrastructure, all right, in which the currency of the Quran is what? The digital currency. And what have we been hearing nonstop, this year? CBDC, okay? The central bank digital currency. And that's going to be the currency of the New World Order, man. All right, which is going to be controlled and monitored and tracked through the Quran, okay? Which that's the prophecy of Revelation 13 and 16. You see? So as we see things, all right, are fast tracking, okay? The war has to fast track as well, man. Okay, and there's moves being made, all right, over there in their region, okay, of Eastern Europe, all right, which we understand that Gog and Magog, all right, Russia are a major part, okay, of this Third World War, okay, and we're gonna get some scriptures, and then, well, we're gonna get this video, okay, and then we're gonna get, all right, some scriptures. So I'm gonna cue this video up. I got 2 videos off of Odyssey. Okay, and they pretty much go into that. I'm gonna skip around on the first one, and then we're gonna kind of let the second one run a little bit. It's a little more informative, and he's gonna go into different dynamics and perspectives. Okay, and we're just gonna get some understanding. Okay, of what's going on. Okay, and as the brother put, we'll jump it off with this. This is the brother kingdom is near, endure to the end. Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe, which is the third war, coming quickly. World War II is over with. The second woe. All right, but part 3, all right, which is the Third World War, is rapidly approaching, man. Okay, and when things hit, they're gonna hit quick, man. All right, now let me cue up this first video. All right. And if a brother can, we're gonna go ahead and put them precepts up so soon as we finish playing this video, we get straight into it. Let's get the why for you brothers, you sisters tuning in. We over here at the underground. You had to go on the ground for this one, man. But yeah, let's go ahead and get Revelation chapter 20. Okay, this is all prophecy, man. All right, let's get Revelation chapter 20, verses 7 and 8. Let's go ahead and get Revelation chapter 13. Okay, verses 2. Revelation 13 and 2. And let's go ahead and get Isaiah 13 and 17. Okay. And let's also get Ephesians. Let's get the book of Ephesians, chapter 6. All right, Ephesians 6 and 10. All right, Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through man, it's fat. Just get verses 10 through 17. You let the clip ride. Let the clip ride a little bit. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18. Yep. 10 through 18. Let the clip ride from there. I'm gonna play this first. Okay. And it's a lot of speculation about things that's gonna happen, all right, towards the end of the month. There's a lot of these truthers and different analysts speculating about the end of this month. Major things are supposed to happen. which like I say, it could or it couldn't, because one thing about the leaks, what they'll do, they'll allow, certain things to leak, and when they don't happen, people, it'll discredit, people who are bringing the truth. You'll be less, prone to listen to someone, that has facts, and they'll allow, certain dates to leak, certain times on periods to leak, you know, and people report on those things and then it don't come to pass. Okay. Now, we don't know for sure if something is going to happen at the end of the month. We don't know. Okay. But we do know moves are being made. And this is what we're going to focus on is the moves that's being made. Okay. We're going to focus on what's happening real time. Okay. So let me start here and see this guy here. These are, Christian. Okay, he tries to go on prophecy, but how either my Christian do when they go on, they try to get too deep in prophecy, it'd be terrible, But I'm gonna jump around to the main points. Then we're gonna go to the main video. All right.
Because the information that I have at the moment, which comes from very high-ranking people, and this information tells us that at the very end of September into October, everything starts to fall apart. First of all, we will be looking at the financial collapse, and then, of course, we have the food scarcity that will be setting in around the same time. I'm always talking about the problems that there are going to be with the food supply, and I have to keep harping on that. But I also want to state that there is so much food in the world that it could feed all of humanity a number of times over. But this is a created shortage. This is not real whatsoever. This is created by them. However, we see the prices of foodstuffs going up everywhere. In most countries now we witness this. So why is this actually happening? It's happening because the governments, the various governments, are telling the producers and the manufacturers of different types of foods that they scale back or cut production completely. They have done this in order to increase the prices and to create a greater crisis. The governments themselves have been told to do this by the global elite. The whole idea is to produce an artificial famine, and in that way to kill off the people. At the same time, of course, they will be killing off the people that have taken all the different types of jabs. And we could add to that a big long etc.
So pretty much, all right, Esau, Edom, it's turned the earth to a death camp. He filled people with juice. Then he's going to bring, the food shortages, okay, which is going to create, violence, okay, gun violence, all right, because scripture say, well, because of lack of bread, people are going to be, at each other, man, okay. So Esau, Edom is turning the earth, all right, to a death camp, but ultimately it's Yahweh by Shema Shai that's putting the spirit on this man to do so, okay. And we're in the build. This is what this thing is leading to, man. People have this hope of going back to the 2012, 2013 era. Okay, that's gone, man. Okay, yeah. How about Shemal Shai? All right, is pushing this thing to the end, and you got to remember this is all after the Day of Atonement, man. And I know, brothers, even you sisters, man, were putting them prayers up for the destruction of this place, man. Okay, and it's the spirit that this is the picture, all right, that the thumbnail that this man chose, for this video, man. This place is done, man. This is the end game, man. This is where we at with it, man. Okay, it's not gonna take a long time for the charagma to be set up in the earth. Okay, that infrastructure, man, because pretty much you are already digital. Most people buy with debit, okay, or what, Cash App, okay. Most people are already digital, man. It's not gonna take long to transition to, all right, the MOTB infrastructure, man. And it's not gonna take long for the missiles to get busy in the earth, man. And he's gonna kind of go into that a little bit, man. Okay. Now the brother put, all right, Ezekiel 7 and 5 said, thus said the Lord power. This is your brother Bayon Yashala. It says Ezekiel 75, 7 and 5, thus said the Lord power and evil, and only evil, behold, is come, which is what? Bad times. Okay, things are just gonna get worse and worse, man, until this society is done, until Yahweh Shai, all right, physically comes back into this realm. Okay, things are gonna continue to escalate, man. All right. It says, and the end is come, and watching for thee. Behold, it is come. The end is, the end is wait. Okay, it's here. The end for you heathens, man. But this is our beginning. This is our beginning, man. So let me just play some more. All right, then we'll um,
all other ways of killing people. This is what they want. In other words, we now find ourselves in the middle of a panorama that is very, very complex. I was talking a few days ago to a military man of extremely high rank, and I told him that NATO and the US will be able to do absolutely nothing to Putin, but in actual fact, that Putin will tear them apart. He told me that the global elite are completely mistaken in believing that they can win against Putin. But he says that they fight to the death between themselves. These are the very people, he said, that are now destroying our world. But even among themselves, they are fighting to the death because they can't even agree on what policies to follow. We have Joe Biden, for instance, US president, making statements that Russia won't even last 5 minutes. We also have the head of NATO, Stoltenberg, who think they'll be finished with Russia in a few hours. There definitely is something wrong with all of these people. Do they not understand that Russia could finish all of them in 6 or 7 hours? Russia has the capacity at the moment to wipe them off the map in just a few hours, and they don't seem to realize that. So
so you see, all right, these are high military officials, okay, that this information is coming from. You see, you let CNN hype you up you want to, okay? Biden, all right, who never served a second, in the military, telling you, all right, Russia won't last 5 minutes, okay? Because if that was the case, America would have been in there. One thing about America, if they know without a shadow of a doubt, okay, that they can, run through you with least existence, that's what they'll do, okay? That's why you see Eastern Europe scared as hell, man. They know, all right, well, Big Pew, all right, Master P, they know what he's capable of, man. And see, the Most High, he strategically put particular spirits in different places just to fulfill out, all right, his purpose, man. Okay? He's a very, you can see Pew, he has a very masculine frame, all right? And he's, ex-special forces, okay? So he really been active out here, man. Okay. And what has happened, all right, how about Shemal Shah has allowed Russia to just have crazy missile technology. Okay. Russia has insane missile technology, man. Okay, that's why your boy said 6 or 7 hours, man. Russia can do some damage to the earth, man. Okay, so what? Imagine the alliance: Russia, China, and Iran. Just them three alone, okay, is a problem. All right, for the West. You see, you believe that CNN hype? Ukraine has a big victory today. Okay, you believe that hype you want to. You believe that propaganda you want to. Okay, ain't nothing sweet about the bear, man. All right, and Putin, that's my favorite uncle right now, man. He making moves. All right, but it's all in the spirit. Because at the end of the day, he gonna be through too. All right, when you have a shot come. Okay, but I'm gonna skip on to another portion. All right, after I get these precepts. So let's rewind it back a little bit. All right, this the brother. All right, kingdom is near and dear to the end too. Revelation 20:7 says, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And this is the end of what they call the dark ages and the beginning of the Renaissance. Okay, the rebirth, okay, of Edomite, rulership in the earth. Okay, beginning mainly with the Spanish, okay, Portuguese, and then you had later the French, all right, then the Brits, okay. But this is when Esau began to establish himself, back in the earth. All right. And it says, and shall go out to deceive the nations. All right. And his main deception was what? Okay. The Roman Catholicism, man. That's why, the Roman Catholic Church is known as what? The false prophet in the book of Revelation, man. Okay. Because through, all right, their doctrine, which all these other, these Christian churches, Baptists, Methodists, and all these different denominations of Christianity, they spin off this false doctrine of Roman Catholicism, man. Okay, and he deceived the nations, all right, through his history, through his religion, through his science. This man has did nothing but deceive the nations. Okay, it says which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, which is Russia. So it jumps, it starts off from him coming back in the power during the Renaissance, and then in this same precept, it jumps, to the war with Russia that's going to end this man. Okay, it says Gog and Magog to gather them together to the battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. Yeah, because as a Russia, the military that's fighting in Ukraine, which is not like Russia is just fighting tooth and nail with Ukraine. No. Okay. There's Russia JV squad, as a brother had put on the comment board earlier, which that was a good analogy. Okay, there's Russia JV squad, and they just doing operations. Okay. If Russia wanted to invade Ukraine, it'd be done for this live stream over with. They have complete control of Ukraine before this live stream is over with. Light work. Okay. All they're doing, which we're going to get into the next video, is stopping the military, okay, equipment from being shipped into Ukraine, which is on Russia's border. Okay, that's why it's called a military operation. That's why it's not a war. The scripture, the media tell you war on Ukraine is a war on Ukraine. Russia-Ukraine war, it's not a war. Okay, it's a military operation. Okay. And they say the next video is going to go into detail, of those things. Okay. Now, it's your brother Bayan Yashala, Revelation 13:2. It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Okay. And you go into leopard, this is the Greeks, because this was the first Edomite empire to dominate the earth was under the Greeks, man. Okay. And his feet were the feet of a bear, which is Russia. And the feet represents what? The end of a thing, man. Because through this war with Russia, which they're Edomites as well, okay, No, you got Jake everywhere. All right. But this is an Edomite, all right, empire on the earth, man. Okay. But through this war with Russia, this will be the end of the Edomite empire. Not only will they go to war with themselves and nuke themselves, man. Okay. But Yahweh Shai is coming to clean up. All right. It says in his mouth is the mouth of the lion. They go into London, which is the leaks, which is the mouthpiece of this Edomite empire, man. Okay. So I'm gonna jump to another part, and then we're gonna keep going.
This is all part of the crisis that I'm talking about. An economic crisis, famine, the state of the church. Personally, I situate. Why will all of these things happen in Argentina? And he says, well, I'd like to explain that by explaining something that's a very delicate topic to deal with. But it's the topic of witchcraft and the occult. He says it's impossible to understand the rise of Nazism in Germany just before the Second World War unless we understand the role of witchcraft in National Socialism. Because practically all of the German High Command practiced witchcraft, including Hitler. I don't have any proof of this in the case of Rudolf Hess, who actually was sent to England to negotiate peace with Britain. So it's not just enough that we understand the role of politics and economics in the German situation, but we also have to understand the role of the occult and witchcraft. And practically all of the German High Command, including Hitler, practiced witchcraft and Satanism. This is one of the aspects of the German situation that nobody ever studies. Nobody goes there. It's all politics or economics or similar subjects, but nobody touches on this spiritual aspect of the problem. We have the same problem with Venezuela in the time of Chavez. It would be pointless to study the situation in Venezuela unless we take into account the amount of witchcraft and Satanism that was being practiced there. I myself, when I lived in Venezuela a good number of years ago, I lived there for a year, I was absolutely astounded at the amount of Satanism and witchcraft that was being practiced there by practically everybody. Therefore, of course, Venezuela had its problems with the oil and Chavez, etc., but it also, behind all of this, there was a severe problem with this spiritual aspect. This spiritual battle was going on. This is exactly what's happening now in Argentina. All of us, therefore, are facing a spiritual battle, a huge spiritual battle. Of course, we're living an economic crisis and a political crisis, and we have the problem with Francis. The things that are happening in the Vatican, the attempt to say that Benedictus died. And behind all these things, we have the fact that there exists an ongoing spiritual battle being fought. But this spiritual battle is being fought through the medium of politics and economics. For example, regarding the Spanish government, the majority of Spanish MPs practice the occult and Satanism. The majority. I am not going to quote names, but I can tell you that the majority of the Spanish government is overwhelmingly satanic. We know that in these places and in the IMF, etc., all of these places, they absolutely detest everything that has to do with Catholicism, and they're doing their utmost to destroy it. This is self-evident. We are seeing this now with abortion. We are seeing it with euthanasia. We are seeing it with all the persecutions that we are now coming under. All of this constitutes a spiritual war, and it's the last spiritual war that we're ever going to encounter.
So he made some points that look, people look at these governments and the situation that these governments are in, okay, but these governments are satanic. He was bringing it out, even down there, in Venezuela, okay, which we seen the hell they was catching, but he goes into how, all right, those governments practice Satanism, man, okay, and this is this is what's ruling the earth, man. This is a very satanic rulership that's ruling in the earth, man. And that's why the scriptures say what they say about what being spiritual, man. Okay, before it's a physical war, it's spiritual. And that's why you see so many psyops going on. People are enchanted, okay, because it's major spiritual warfare. That's why you get Ephesians 6 and 10. It's from the brother number 1. It said, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Yo, we have to be strong in faith, man. Okay, because it's finna be some things that we're finna see that's gonna make people waver. All these people, that say they believe in this and believe in that. Well, the things that's coming to the earth is gonna make a lot of people waver, man. Okay, because people don't expect it to be this bad, and people not rooted, all right, and our people, okay, you tribes are not rooted in your house shot. Okay, we're gonna be really rooted, all right, to be unmovable in these times, man. Verse 11 said, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Okay, and wiles, you go into it, in the Greek, one of the words is a method, it's the Greek word where they get the word, English word method from. I think it's methodios in the Greek or something like that, but it goes to method, man. And Esau method is the constant fear monger, okay? It's to constant have you confused. Okay. That's this man's wild. To use your leverage, okay, of your love of this life, against you, man. Your love of comfort, that's the wiles of the devil, man, and he's finna bring it. Okay. To the point where it's gonna be war. All right. Jump to verse 12. It said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Okay? These governments, man. Okay? Esau has put a satanic energy on all these governments of the earth, man. Spiritual wickedness in high place, man. These are the people that's in rulership. Even when you go to the whole mask thing, that goes back to a satanic ritual, man. Standing 6 feet apart, and you're always washing your hands. That was a satanic ritual, because they would do that in Satanism. One of the rituals is that you would stand in a circle with a mask on. After you wash your hands, you'd be 6 feet apart, man. That was a big ritual that this man did in the earth, man, with the mask, okay, and the 6 feet apart, okay. Remember, it's the number of a man, 666, man. This is this is the spiritual demon. All right, these are the children of the spiritual demon Satan, man. Okay, this is Ephesians 6 and 13. It said, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all to stand. Okay, and that's why the scripture tell us not to forsake the congregation. Especially in these times, because this is a weapon. Us being gathered here tonight, this is a weapon, man. Okay, this is fortifying our spirit. Reading, fasting. Okay, refraining from different things, man. Just falling back from pleasure, man. And those things increase the spirit, man. Okay, discipline. These are all things. That's how we put on the whole armor, man. Okay. verse 14, it says, stand therefore having your loins girded about with the truth. Okay, ready, ready to teach, man. And also being able to move within the ministry, within this society based on the truth. Like we move in this society based on the truth, man. Have your loins girded, it means you're ready for action, man. Ready to make decisions based on what? The narrative of the truth, man. Okay? And having a breastplate of righteousness, yeah, because see, doing the right thing, that puts a particular energy on you, man. When we do the right thing, that puts a particular energy on us, man. It's like a force field, man. Things fall in our favor, things deflect off us, man, like a breastplate, man. Okay, we have to have these things on in this time, man, because we finna see some extreme wickedness, man. We finna see extreme death, okay, in the earth, man. Okay, everything is finna be on a whole nother extreme. It says, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Okay. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked. And I believe, okay, faith is going to get us through this, man. It's going to come a time we just going to have to be still and know that he is, man. Okay. The hell with what Esau saying we not gonna eat, and you can't work, and you're not gonna, you can't come here, you're gonna lose your house, you know, whatever he say, man, we're gonna move in faith, man. It is what it is, you know, because a lot of people are gonna be taken because of what? Lack of faith. A lot of people gonna take the Quran because of what? Lack of faith. Not waiting on the salvation of the Lord. All right. People are going to take their pseudo salvation of Esau Edom because, hey, that's going to be those fiery darts. It's him trying to starve you out, him trying to make you uncomfortable. That's part of those fiery darts, man. But that shield of faith block all that, man. The Lord said we were going to eat, man. It might not be the day, the next day. Some going to come through, man. He said he's not going to suffer the righteous to famish, So either either we gonna eat or we ain't right. So somebody got to be the elect though, man. It's a great change that it's us, man, and we're gonna move all right according to their faith, man. Okay. Ephesians 6 and 17 it says to take the helmet of salvation. Yeah, having that mindset of the deliverance, man. That's another thing, man. I seen, me and my wife was outside on the deck, you know. I just got through cutting the yard, man. We just out there talking. Man, a cherry just came by. It was kind of low, and it was just cruising. It was just cruising, man. I was able to put up blessings, put up curses, put up protection, praise of protection for the elect. That cherry just cruising by, man. Just chilling, man. You see, it ain't, that ain't for nothing, man. All right. It says, and take the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. All right. Verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit and watching thereunto. Okay. And what we do, we watch with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. Okay. The believers, man. We finna get the hell out of here, man. It's only a matter of time. Okay. Even if it don't go haywire at the end of September or whatever, okay, it's coming. All right, it is coming, man. You see, we here. So let's get into another video. All right, and he's gonna go more in detail dealing with the situation with Russia and Ukraine, man. Okay. And those people in Ukraine are suffering because of the West. Okay. America and the NATO has those people suffering. All right. And he's going to explain, particular things. So I'm gonna let a lot of this play, and then I'll come back and give precepts, towards the end. I'm gonna jump around, do a little commentary, and really let the information flow, you know. So this is the guy Hal Turner, um, which last time I put one of his videos, within the World War III update, I got Skype, so he he must know some heavy info. Okay, he must have some solid sources that they don't want to come out. So hey, we're gonna go for the hell with it. That's why I gave a little promo during the live stream at lunch, because I want you brothers, you sisters to see this, to hear this information. So if it's just meant for us to hear right now, hey, we got it. Okay, you get a Skype, we'll be back. It is what it is, man.
In a hotel in Austria. She was found with 17 stab wounds, laying dead in a hotel room in Austria. The assassin was assassinated. We'll talk more about that as the show unfolds. Now, also dealing with Ukraine, there's some covert intelligence information that I was able to obtain from my former colleagues in the intelligence community, and it came out over the weekend, and it deals with the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant in Ukraine. Covert intelligence communication circuits over the weekend were reporting that the Ukraine special services were reaching out and making contacts with workers at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. And some of the intelligence sources were reporting over the weekend, and I'm going to quote them verbatim. These are their reports. Quote, Ukraine is preparing a terrorist attack against the International Atomic Energy Agency when their team arrives at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, unquote. Now, there were other intelligence sources that were claiming, quote, it's not the Ukrainians planning this false flag attack, it's the US and NATO who have planned it, unquote, because they want to blame Russia for killing the IAEA nuclear inspectors, who, by the way, departed on their trip to this nuclear power plant. They departed today. So we'll talk more about that as the show unfolds. And also over the weekend, an unknown aircraft was shot down over Iran. Now, it was about 2:39 a.m. here in the New York City area on Monday, August 29th, today, that residents of the Iranian province of Hamadan reported that an unidentified aircraft was destroyed about 85 kilometers from the provincial capital of Hamadan. There's video footage that I have on my website of heat flares, the kind of flares that would have been deployed by a fighter jet if someone had fired a missile at it. And so the heat flares were coming down out of the sky, and then there were massive black smoke clouds. It looked as though an aircraft had gone down. Now, mum's the word on this. Everybody is keeping their mouth shut about this. It's like, hush, hush, don't talk about it. But the rumor mill is claiming that the aircraft which was shot down was an Israeli F-35. Now, again, that's unconfirmed. It's a rumor. And this thing was about, I would say, 200 miles into Iranian airspace. They had definitely crossed the border. They knew they crossed the border. They were well inside Iran. So whoever aircraft this was that got shot down is keeping totally quiet, and the Iranians are keeping totally quiet.
What we have to understand, okay, is the scriptures say the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay, now, of course, there's a lot of tension on what Russia is doing because that plays a major part. But we have to understand that the conflict between, all right, the Iran and those Israelis, okay, those small hats is going to really, okay, be the match, okay, that lights the flame of this third world war. Now, recently, these Israelis, they have the tech, they have, those new F-35s, all right, from America, those fighter jets, but these have bigger tanks on them, okay, and newer, fuel technology where they're able to leave, Israel and make it to Iran and come back. Now, there could have been an unmanned, fighter jet just so they can try to see, what type of air defense, Iran had. Okay. And Iran showed them some. Okay. See, this war is because, see, these nations know because there's so much destructive power in the earth, man. World War III is going to be a slugfest. Okay. That's why you look like a heavyweight fight. Okay. One thing about a heavyweight fight, man, one punch can end everything. And these nations are trying to feel each other out, trying to see what's what. Okay, trying to see, okay, he if I do this, how he gonna respond? Okay, and what they're seeing is with Iran and Russia, they're way stronger than they thought. Okay, that's why you see the West kind of dragging their feet. Okay, that's why they're trying to do all these sanctions to cripple, the finances of Russia and Iran to cripple their military. Like, they stronger than what we thought. Okay, so this is what we see going on.
But the rumor mill is, pounding, claiming that it was an Israeli F-35. So we'll talk more about that as the show unfolds. Also over the weekend, videos emerged of several more trains carrying more Russian armor into Ukraine. Tanks, armored personnel carriers, rocket launchers, trucks, Jeep-type vehicles. So, I mean, if you listen to the U.S. and European mass media, people are being led to believe that, Ukraine's not only winning the war, but the Russians are running out of equipment. They don't have enough missiles. They don't have enough ammunition. Well, all of that is false. And I got the videos of more trainloads of Russian armor heading into Ukraine. So things are not getting better over there. Things are getting worse. And in addition to things getting worse, inside and around Ukraine, we found out this morning that the British government has begun moving fighter jets and other warplanes from their Air Force bases to civilian airports. They're stationing combat aircraft in civilian airports for the first time since World War II. And this is in response to the Ukrainian situation. They say that the dispersing of planes across Britain will help the Royal Air Force's rapid response units survive attacks on their bases. So Britain is not only talking about war against Russia, Britain is now scattering their warplanes to civilian airports because they expect British bases to be attacked.
So, like you said, you watch, CNBC in the morning or, Fox News, and they give you that BS. Russia is retreating. Ukraine just gained back 400 square miles of territory. No, Russia fell back, okay, so they can do strategic strikes on, all right, infrastructure of the power grid. And now they're rolling military tanks in there, man. Okay? And their hardware, it sounds like they're preparing to advance, okay, with an invasion. Okay, when you start shutting down infrastructures, okay, that means you prepare to go to the next phase. And if Ukraine was, winning, as they say, why is Britain putting military jets at civilian airports? Okay, because Europe knows that Russia can hit any target it wants whenever it wants. Okay, that's why they pissed at America, man. All right, y'all done got the bear started. Now he coming forward. You see, everything was cute. All right, when it was just jokes and the vodka drinking Russian, but now y'all done got this nigga started, man. Okay, and these European nations know. That's why they already moving, their hardware from the bases, man. And what they're doing, they're trying to hide behind their civilians. Like, well, look, let's put the military equipment at civilian places in civilian areas. So if they strike here, we can make them like the bad guy. You see, these governments are putting civilians in the worst position ever, man. But it's all judgment of you. How about Shima Shah? Okay, the hell with you, damn people. Okay, but this is what's happening. The European government is pretty much going to use its civilians as a shield. Okay, so let's keep going, man. Hold on. Oh man.
None of this is being reported by the mass media. It's just staggering. And of course, the big story tonight is what I had to do over the weekend. Most regular listeners to this show know that I do the show from a studio in my home in North Bergen, New Jersey. My home is 3 miles due west of the Empire State Building in New York City. And my regular listeners know that my mother died suddenly and unexpectedly in the middle of last November, and that I inherited her house in rural northeastern Pennsylvania. And I had a big fight with the reverse mortgage company that, my mom had apparently taken a reverse mortgage back in 2012. And it was a huge fight, and it ended up being a legal battle. And that has been settled. And as of July 15th, I own the house. And I've been doing this radio show for the last 3 weeks from Pennsylvania. I set up a duplicate studio up there, and I've been doing the show up there because I'm very concerned with the Ukraine-Russia conflict, that it is going to spark World War III. And I am explicitly concerned that NATO is, not only aggravating the situation, it looks as though they're intentionally trying to start World War III with Russia. Well, say what you want about New York City, and I've said a lot about it. We here in the New York City area are, a bigger nuclear target than even Washington, D.C. New York City is the financial capital of America and arguably much of the world. New York City is the media capital of America. Yeah, they make movies out in Hollywood, but news, media, all the big shots are headquartered here. And the Russians, their standard warhead on their YARS, Y-A-R-S, intercontinental ballistic missile, is 800 kilotons. It's huge. And an 800 kiloton blast, if it was detonated, at or over the Empire State Building in Midtown Manhattan, would destroy the home that I have in New Jersey. I wouldn't be in the primary blast zone. I would be in the thermal radiation zone. So the temperature, when the bomb went off, the temperature outside my house would be like 300,000 degrees. The
Did y'all hear that number? Oh, man, he's just talking about one missile, man. Which it's going to be many. If a brother can get that to Micah 4:1, okay. Is that Micah or Malachi? Might be Malachi 4:1. Burn like an oven, 300,000 degrees, man. Okay. People are falling out, in 110 degrees, 114 heat index. People faint, nigga legs wobbling, cramp, through 300,000 degrees, man. And that's not even in the middle of the blast. That's on the outside of the blast radius, man. The Most High finna make a point in the earth, man. Let's get that the Most High is known by the judgment which he executed. I believe Psalms 9:16. Okay. This man. It's Jeremiah 15:35. This is the brother Bayan Yasha'Allah, because he was saying, like, look, these big cities are nuclear targets, but ultimately the whole state of America, the whole country of America is a nuclear target. Okay, it don't matter if you in New York City, okay, or you in goddamn Lexington, Mississippi, yeah, it's done. Okay, if you ground zero, all right, when those silos are being emptied, okay. In Jeremiah 15:35, it said, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon. Yeah, you civilians, you American civilians are going to reap, okay, what the American empire has been doing throughout the earth, man. The wickedness of the American empire throughout the earth. Guess what? You civilians are going to reap that, man. All right, and upon her princes, okay, and upon her wise men, okay, which are the rulers, all right, the higher up of society, mainly these politicians and governors, okay, It says, a sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty man, and they shall be dismayed, man. Okay, which is America military. All right, because these nations have some hardware for America ass when they come over them, man. Okay, it ain't gonna be sweet. This ain't gonna be Desert Storm. All right, you American troops gonna get their work. All right, in the country, out the country. Okay. This is the brother Bayon Yasha'Allah, Malachi 4:1 said, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, 300,000, and there's one missile, man. So all on warheads, man, it might be 1,000,000,000 degrees, man, and people gonna feel that, man. The Most High is gonna make people feel just crazy heat, man. Man, it make you want to go on another fast tonight, man. Like, please, you know. Oh, like this ain't. That's why I say all this playing that Jake do. You know, Jake didn't know that they're Israelites, man. Okay? It's gonna be niggas with fringes, okay? Sisters with head wraps in this fire, man, for playing. Okay? Because we know what's expected, man. You still got, you know, Jake playing. The Most High not playing, man. People finna feel this. Okay, this is literal, man. And it says, yeah, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and all they that cometh shall burn them up. It says, in the day cometh they shall burn them up. And we're seeing the build up to it. They got this technology. This technology exists to do this, man. That's why scripture say the elements shall melt with fervent heat, man. Crazy heat. Okay? It says the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Done. Complete, the whole household just done. Okay? This is the brother hopeful let behavior. Psalms 9:16 said, the Lord is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. See, the Most High is going to be known by this judgment. The kingdom, that's why it's going to be so much fear. Okay, because the way people are about to be put to death, man. Okay, this flood is gonna be with fire, man. He's not gonna flood the earth with water. It's gonna be with fire, man. Okay. Get this in the brother. Yep, that's a brother hopeful elect. 2nd Ezra 9:11, and it says, and they that have loathed my law, okay, which is our people. You know, that's why it's a scary thing. Why you cannot fear Yahweh Shem Al Shah, man. Serve the Lord with fear and trembling, man. Most I can bug, you know, it's his choice. He can bug you out, man. You know, and have you, you know, thinking that, you know, have you not even believing in prophecy, man? Are you being rebellious, man? This is a fearful thing, man. It said, while they yet had liberty, and when they had yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. Okay? All these videos going on, all this understanding going forth, man. Okay, then the devil, he's showing you what he's about, who he is. Okay? You people that's in agreement with this society, man. Okay? It says the same must know it after death by pain, man. And you can't, man, come on, man. Millions of degrees of heat. The Most High letting you feel it, man. Man. We're gonna keep going.
A pressure wave from the blast would flatten the building, right? So I fought to inherit my mom's house, as a bug out location for me, my wife, and our 28-year-old son. And then, once I was
Okay. Well, ain't no bug out house. All right. You're gonna be done in Pittsburgh too. Okay. And your son, 28, he old as hell. Okay. He gonna be through. You see? Just as a brother, I think a brother put it. If a brother can get that in Joel chapter 2, and we go down to like the fifth verse, man. Okay, you not gonna be safe in Pittsburgh, man. You and that old ass nigga, all right, and your wife gonna be through. Okay.
getting the house, there was a whole lot of cleanup that needed to be done. There was a whole lot of improvements that needed to be done to make it structurally sound, to make it secure, to make it comfortable. And the overwhelming majority of that work is now done. Ukraine, that the US, UK, and NATO covert weapons smuggling routes and methods have been uncovered. There was a covert penetration into the computers at the Ukraine Main Intelligence Directorate. And this penetration got the complete scoop on the weapons smuggling routes and the weapons smuggling methods being used by the United States, United Kingdom, and NATO into Ukraine. After this covert penetration got the information, human assets were sent out to verify locations and methods. And guess what? They were verified. It turns out that the United Kingdom, United States, and NATO are using soft-sided tractor trailers, the kind used every day in commerce all over the world, to smuggle weapons and ammunition into Ukraine. I've even got photos on my website, haltunerradioshow.com. Now, this is a disaster for the truck drivers that are still trying to earn a living in Ukraine. Because by using soft-sided civilian tractor trailers to conceal military weapons shipments into Ukraine, the US, UK, and NATO have just made every civilian tractor trailer traveling the roads inside Ukraine legitimate targets for military attack by Russia. No.
Okay, so we have to understand, okay, NATO, all right, and America, and Britain as well, was smuggling weapons into Ukraine. And when Russia got wind of it, that's what made them start doing military operations in Ukraine. Now, pretty much, they just been occupying different areas, okay, through force, all right, and just kind of peeping things out. But when they start finding out about all these different smuggling routes and these smuggling tactics of these weapons, okay, that's what we're seeing Russia getting a little more aggressive. That's why they just started knocking out power grids, man. Because see, America and NATO still playing games, man. Okay, and now even civilian, truckers, all right, are targets because America and NATO, okay, is using, civilian vehicles, civilian, cargo vehicles to smuggle weapons, man. Okay, so Russia like, well, bet you just gonna play. We finna turn the lights off in this bitch. All this playing and sneaking around. We finna turn the lights off in this bitch. And if any tractor, trailer, truck move, they the business. You know, so Russia has to take it to another level because America and NATO, they won't stop. You know, they'll play some more.
No truck driver inside Ukraine is safe anymore. The hunt for Ukraine's weapons smuggling began in earnest in the month of May. It was during May that the British Defense Secretary, Ben Wallace, made public the search for all kinds of old Soviet-era weapons that Britain wanted to get on behalf of Ukraine. Lo and behold, where did they find the biggest cache and a very willing seller of all these Soviet-era weapons? Russia's ally, Kazakhstan. Now, for those unaware, Kazakhstan used to be part of the Central Asia Military District of the old Soviet Union, which, dissolved itself in December 1991. Well, since that time, Kazakhstan has had such an enormous amount of old Soviet weaponry that they've been selling it for like 40 years. Well, once the penetration of Ukraine's main intelligence directorate took place, it was learned that in June, a Kazakhstan company named Techno Export delivered 122 millimeter shells for D-20 howitzers into Ukraine by truck. They also delivered 152 millimeter shells for D-30 howitzers and rockets for the GRAD, G-R-A-D, multiple launch rocket system. The June deliveries alone consisted of 20,000 shells and 30,000 rockets. And it was done for $70 million, paid for by the British government. Do you know what that weaponry was used for once it got to Ukraine? It was used to bomb the main civilian centers in Donetsk. Now, it turns out from the documents retrieved off the Ukraine main intelligence directorate that these weapons transactions were supervised by the Kazakhstan Foreign Ministry and the British military attaché in Kazakhstan's city of Nur Sultan. For some reason, all the import-export documents ended up on the main computer in the Ukraine main intelligence directorate. All the parties to this transaction were apparently very satisfied with how everything went, because right now, even as I speak, while you're listening, the British government is actively seeking to purchase 200 armored vehicles, anti-tank guided missiles known as Konkur, Konkur, and 120 millimeter mortars from Kazakhstan. To conceal what they've been doing, both the British and later the American governments paid for these weapons through companies in third countries. The British used the country of Jordan. Now, I had contacted the Kazakhstan Ministry of Industry and Infrastructure Development, because that's the government agency over there that would need to license weapons transfers. And when I finally got to somebody who spoke English and knew the subject matter, they did not offer a response. Less than 2 hours after I reached out to them, the Kazakh Ministry of Industry and Infrastructure began to publicly deny that these transactions took place. In fact, they issued a public statement. Get a load of this.
So what you had, I don't know if you remember, Russia, and China had went into Kazakhstan. All right. It was about a month after, they went into Ukraine because they found out that a lot of weapons, going to the west was coming from Kazakhstan. So Russia, Moab and China, all right, Moab, they pretty much had to checkmate that, man. Okay, so what we're seeing as these nations are part of this one world order, okay, there's still skirmishes amongst these nations. They're fighting for position. They really don't trust each other. They in cahoots with each other, for the sake, of the one world order. Okay, they play their particular parts, within the script, okay, of this world stage. But then what we're seeing, all right, is these nations are these skirmishes and these little disagreements that they having, okay, it's gradually turning into real war. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Is one more part I want to get into. Okay, and we'll get into the precepts. Let's go to about right.
That nuclear power plant. The Russians say it's Ukraine, presumably as part of a NATO action. I already talked to you about the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, sending a team of inspectors at the invitation of Russia, which is controlling that nuclear power plant in Zaporizhia. Artillery shells have been launched for the past couple of weeks at that nuclear power plant. Russia controls the plant because Russia does not want a radiation release while their military is operating in Ukraine. They don't want radiation coming out and killing their army. And they don't want the local prevailing winds to blow radiation into Russia. So Russia took over that nuclear power plant very early in their special military operation into Ukraine. And now, for the past 2-3 weeks, somebody's been firing artillery shells at that nuclear power plant. The Russians say it's Ukraine. Ukraine concocted this amazingly baffling counter argument saying, no, it's not us, it's Russia. They're trying to create a radiation incident which will give them an excuse to use tactical nuclear weapons against Ukraine. That seems insane to me. Anyway, Russia invited the IAEA to inspect. The IAEA team is on their way there now, should arrive tomorrow. And now the intel circuits, as I outlined earlier, are reporting there's going to be some sort of an attack to try to kill the IAEA team, which will be blamed on Russia. And who knows, maybe NATO will use that as an excuse to intervene in the war. So, I've covered the big stories tonight, but this is far and away the biggest. This, what I'm about to report to you is, it's just astonishing. Now, I hinted at what this was going to be when I posted a story back on yesterday, the 28th of August, announcing to everyone that I was back in the New York City area, that I had to have a sort of Luca Brasi moment with a couple of banker/financial types. And tonight, right now, I'm going to tell you the what's what about economic collapse, the stock and bond markets, and World War III. All right? For a couple of years now, I've been utilizing various sources for information, intelligence, and to try to get an understanding of why things are years now. And I decided it was time to bring that toying to a stop. I wanted the real facts, and I intended to get them. But I realized maybe this has to get ugly. So last week, I made arrangements to meet personally with a few of these people, Saturday night into Sunday. All very hush hush, all very quiet and very, very secret. Met with them one at a time in the dark of night in places where there was no help and there was no escape. Now, most regular listeners to this radio show know that for 15 years, I worked with the FBI. My final 5 years, 2003 to 2008, with the Joint Terrorism Task Force. And most readers of my website and listeners to the show know from sworn testimony in Brooklyn Federal Court by Special Agent in Charge Amy Pickett of the FBI's New York City division that I handled national security intelligence, terrorism, and foreign counterintelligence. Most listeners know that I had extraterritorial operating authority, which was granted to me by the Office of Intelligence at FBI headquarters in Washington, and that I was tasked to travel to other countries as part of my work. Through the years, I developed contacts in the intelligence field, some of whom I'm still in contact with to this very day. And that right there is how I get information that other media cannot get. That is how I often, not always, but often get stories from my website hours or even days before other media outlets get those stories. My contacts in the intelligence community, people I used to work with, afford me lots of information. And from time to time, if I really need it, and that's not often at all, these contacts afford me the ability to get the dirt on people. So last week, I had been thinking about this for weeks, and last week I decided it was time. Now, I know and have known for quite a while there are several individuals in the banking and financial sector who are so inextricably intertwined in matters of global finance that they actually do know what the real deal is. Now, no, these are not titans of industry or the so-called masters of the universe. The people I'm talking about are the lesser people within the command structures of banking and finance. Some of these people are, second, third, fourth, or even fifth in line to the masters of the universe because they are the ones who have to actually implement what the masters of the universe decided, right? So these second, third, fourth, and fifth in line, they get the info and the big picture. Well, everybody below them merely gets told, do this or do that. No big picture, no explanation, do what you're told. So these second, third, fourth, or even fifth in line can answer many of these questions, that are like serious as a heart attack as to why things are falling apart and where it's all heading.
So yeah, I left the link, for about another hour or so if you want to watch the rest of it. But the main points, have been made as far as that information, so let's get a couple precepts, just to bag that up. Now, the first thing I want to do is let's get this in Joel 2:1. All right, this from the brother Hope for Elect Behavior. All right, Joel 2:1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. for the day of the Lord coming, for it is nigh, all right, at hand. Okay? So as the trumpet is being blown, all right, for the day of the Lord, what's going to usher in the day of Yahweh's war? Okay, and that's why we keep up with these things, so diligently, because what is going to usher in, okay, and it's going to be a day, okay, of terror, man. It's going to be a time of terror, man. Okay, a lot of destruction, man. This war is going to be different, man. These nations have billions of missiles, man. Okay, all of them not nukes, but they have billions of missiles, and lives of civilians, okay, are going to die in this war, man. Okay, more civilians than soldiers will die in Third World War. Okay, it says a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong that have not been ever the like, neither. And this is that great people is speaking of missiles, man. Okay, it's going to be likened to an army. All right, shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Yeah, because that weaponry is going to be destroyed. Okay, according to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, man. Okay, it says a fire devoured before them is the warheads, and behind them a flame burneth, and that's the projectile that's going to transport those warheads. All right, the ICBM. The projectile is going to transport those ICBMs from one continent to another. That's why they call ICBMs intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. Okay? The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah. And nothing shall escape them. He talking about he's going to be in Pittsburgh, his bug out house. No, you're not going to escape. Ain't no goddamn Pittsburgh, man. Okay? You're going to be through. Okay? So we're seeing that Russia is being put in a completely different energy, man. Okay? Just like the brother put, when you go here, this is the brother, all right, Alma 1, Jeremiah 50 and 25. It says the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah have opened his armory. Hey, because the scriptures say the Most High created the smith that bloweth the coal. All these weapons that we see, the Most High put it in the minds of these Edomites to come up with this weaponry, man. And now the Most High is getting ready to open his armor. This is his weaponry that's going to be flying back and forth throughout the earth, man. Until he send that ultimate weapon, Yahweh Shai. Okay? And then he even said he's going to make the creature weapon, man, which is with the house of David, man. Okay? It says, the Lord have opened his armory, have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, man. That's why those weapons are going to be so hot, man. They it's crazy, man. If I want to say they got some nukes, they say hotter than the sun, man. You see, that's the Lord's indignation in that weaponry, man. Okay? For this is the work of the Lord of the hosts in the land of the Chaldeans, which is here in America, man. Okay? And it says, verse 26, come against her from the utmost border, upon her storehouse, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left, man. Okay? America will be a desert. This is a command. We read it as prophecy, but this is the decree from the King of Kings. Okay? And this is going to happen. All right? It's written, it's going to happen, man. Yeah, the brother posted. This the brother on the 1. All right. Isaiah 54:16 said, behold, I have created the smith that blows the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster, okay, to destroy. Those missiles was created to destroy, man. That's why they have so much destructive power, man. Most I didn't allow Esau to start splitting the atom for nothing, to start going into nuclear physics for nothing. No, there's a purpose behind those weapons, man. And we're finna see these things on display. Okay, Lord will we be in those chariots, as it says, how the elect are going to be looking down, okay, on the glass mingled with fire. Just looking at those missiles going off in the earth from the chariots, man. You know, Abaratazah is the brother Bayan Yasha'Allah, 2nd Ezra 16 and 13. For strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. Okay, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they shall begin to be shot in the ends of the earth, man. And we're watching the build up to that. And those arrows are the missiles. And they're sharp, all right, because of how deadly they are. The sharper a sword would be, the more deadlier, okay, and the more efficient that sword would be able, all right, to kill, man. Okay. So how efficient these missiles are, okay, in this time, man. Okay, and the ends of the world is mainly here in America, man. It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of, all right, missiles that's gonna come from the east, all right, and land in the west, man. And rightfully so, because the west is a goddamn mess, man. Okay, so Lord will you brothers, you few sisters edified. I just want to bring that out. I thought that'd be good info, so we'll know what's really, going on, man. Okay, not that clown ass news, CNN and Fox and CSNBC, give you that, that news that Ukraine winning, you know, and then right after that they go to some news, you know, talking about a one armed man playing the guitar, some silly shit. All right, Russia, big Putin over there holding down, man. Okay, and it's gonna get worse. All right, Shalom.